Here is a brief overview of how Drata's Vendor Risk Management AI agent can help your organization. Let's start by going to current vendors. Let's say you're responsible for vendor risk management at your company and you get a notification that there's been an incident with some of your vendors. You follow your notification and it brings you to Drata, where you can see that the VRM AI agent is evaluating these vendors to see the impact to your organization around this incident. Beaconly is critical, so we need to jump in there and take some action. The other vendors are low, so there isn't immediate action that needs to be taken. We can always address those in a little bit. So jumping into Beaconly, you can see that the source of the incident notification is from their Trust Center. A summary of the incident is right here. Our standard process is to send a breach questionnaire. Many companies have a standard questionnaire that they would send in this situation, so we can go ahead and send that, which is already pre-built into the system. We could kick off an incident response workflow, contact their security team, and conduct a review of the vendor's access. We sent the questionnaire, which is why the status is awaiting response. Once we get that questionnaire responded to, we'll get a notification from our agent to bring us back here and review. Since we're already here, we could jump into our prospective vendors and see if there are any new vendors that we need to review. We can see that there are 3 here. With one click of a button, I can kick off 3 simultaneous reviews where the VRM agent is going to start conducting those reviews automatically. If I jump into Taskably, you can see that the agent is identifying that there's a trust center. It's requesting access to the documentation that needs to be collected to conduct this review. Access was granted, and so the VRM agent is collecting those documents, bringing it into the security review, and assessing all of the security documentation against the vendor criteria that your organization expects vendors to meet. You can see that there are inconclusive results, criteria that have been met, and criteria that have not been met. The AI agent is also identifying very specific gaps in the documentation and the criteria that are either inconclusive or not being met. You can see a summary of 10 criteria were met, 1 was not met, 3 were inconclusive. So what the VRM agent did was create a custom vendor security questionnaire asking the vendor to address these specific gaps by either submitting additional documentation or clarifying specific concepts within the questionnaire. I've programmed this to automatically send that questionnaire out because this is our standard process. If I jump back to the prospective vendors page, you can see that Taskably is still in progress because we're waiting for that questionnaire to be returned. But the other 2 vendors were completed. The VRM agent was able to collect the documents it needed, assess the criteria that were required, and conclude that this security review is completed and good to go. Now I can schedule these vendor reviews to happen on a recurring basis. So the VRM agent's going to pull me in once vendor reviews are completed, or if there's any gaps that need to be addressed or next steps that I need to approve. The VRM AI agent is going to make it a lot easier, not just to onboard new vendors, but also to carry out those recurring reviews that happen on an annual basis across all of my vendors. It'll also be continuously monitoring for incidents and reports. That way I can get ahead of the risk mitigation process and have a much smoother, more robust vendor risk management program overall.